Hey everybody, welcome back to Huge Sports and welcome back to the Miami Minute where we cover my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. Now I'm going to cut to the chase. This 70-20 victory over the Denver Broncos, as a Dolphins fan who began watching football in the early 2000s, is the greatest Dolphins game of my life. I went to the Wildcat game, and before now, that was the greatest Dolphins game in my life. But the way the Dolphins dominated the Denver Broncos today, Tua 23 of 26 for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns, Akane 202 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, Tyreek Hill 9 receptions, 157 yards, 1 touchdown, and then Raheem Mostert also added another 82 on the ground, 3 touchdowns, not to mention his 60 yards receiving, or Akane's 30-yard receiving and 2 touchdowns. Just an insane game. And I guess until or if the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, this will be the highlight of my Dolphins fandom. And I'm sure there are a lot of Dolphins fans who are going to agree with me there. So let's get into it. Again, I just went through the stats, but the Dolphins were, in a word, unstoppable today. Nothing that the Broncos threw at them slowed them down in the slightest. The only time they really got beaten was when they beat themselves by not converting on a 4th down. Every other drive seemed to be a touchdown until the 4th quarter, when the starters, primarily Tua, exited the game. But that didn't stop them. They still had a Mike White to Chosen Anderson 68-yard touchdown, and then Akane scored his last touchdown of the day on a long run in the 4th quarter. This gives me as a Dolphins fan a lot of confidence moving forward. They're 3-0 now, with the Ravens losing. They are atop the AFC all alone. And this has been just an exceptional start to the season, winning 2 road games. Now we're back home opener, 2 points away from tying the all-time record for points in a game, 3 points away from breaking it. I know the correct thing, the sportsman thing to do would be not to score that field goal in the 4th quarter that they could have had at least a chance at. But a lot of Dolphins fans, including myself, are like, but it'd be cool to have 73 points in the record forever. But I understand why they did it. The defense, well, they gave up 20 points. 7 of that was garbage time. They were really great. They were very opportunistic. Javon Holland in particular had 2 huge forced fumbles, both on Courtney Sutton, which unfortunate for him. We had an amazing interception by Emmanuel Ogbah, and just they were hitting Russell Wilson all game. They were not allowing big plays, and just a really insane game, especially when you consider the Dolphins didn't have Jalen Waddle in this game. So another piece to this puzzle was missing, another weapon for our mad genius of a coach, Mike McDaniel, to use. Didn't even play. So that should scare the league, I would imagine, a little bit. But the other big storyline here that some people really, really had fun with earlier in the week was that Sean Payton, when he was working on TV, I think Fox last year, said that Tua was going to get benched at some point for Teddy Bridgewater, not because of injury. So Tua, went off, completed, I think, 17 straight to start this game, finished 23 of 26, as I said, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. Really showed him. As for the Broncos, I genuinely do not know where you go from this. To give up 70 points, to lose by 50 points. Last year, a lot of the blame was on Nathaniel Hackett, and a lot of the blame for last year, maybe I should say that better, was placed onto Nathaniel Hackett. But new year, they're 0-3. Granted, the first 2 games were close, but it seems more of the same. The Russell Wilson trade has not worked out, though he didn't look terrible today. He certainly didn't really do much for the Broncos in any meaningful way. So it's tough. They're in a bad situation. They're already in a bad situation with the Chiefs just being in their division, let alone the Chargers. And it just has to be a really demoralizing game. And Broncos fans, if you're watching this, we've been there as Dolphins fans, not quite to this extent, but we lost by 49 points to the Ravens first game of 2019. It was like 59-10, something like that. It sucks, and I'm sorry as a fan of a team who's had their struggles. I can very much relate. On the flip side of that, to Dolphins fans, I mean, you have to be just incredibly excited with where this team is in year 2 under Mike McDaniel here, already having 3 wins in 3 games, just looking so impressive and having certain things work out for them around the league to kind of put them in a potential position to really make a run. You know, it's a long season. I don't want to get it too far ahead of ourselves, but it does seem that the Dolphins will be a team that pushes for, you know, a high playoff seed, winning the division at the very least. So very exciting times. I know I sound very monotone and like lukewarm, but inside I am ecstatic. This was an amazing win. This was everything you could dream of. I came into this game not terribly concerned just because the Broncos have been in a bit of a rough spell for the last couple of years. And I was blown away with, you know, when they scored 56 points, I was like, wow, didn't expect that. To score 70, completely outrageous. I credit Mike McDaniel. That man is a genius. He knows how to do anything he wants on offense. And this is exciting times. Soak it in, Dolphins fans, especially if you're newer fans, younger people just getting into football, because one thing that living in New England while being a Dolphins fan and now, you know, still living in New England has taught me is like, good times aren't forever. Enjoy the good times while you're in them as much as you possibly can. So other than that, you know, just wanted to do a quick video, quick reaction to this win. If you enjoyed it, please stick around. We have coverage of all of the major sports here on the channel. So yeah, subscribe, check out the channel. We'd really love it if you stuck around. Dolphins fans, leave me comments in the comment section down below how you're feeling right now. And I imagine, if you're like me, pretty ecstatic. Other than that, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.